Okay. So we discussed last class some of the conditions of borer. Let's kind of just do a quick summary of how we got to this point. We planted, we seeded, the water came down from the heavens, the trees came up, the plants came up, they were harvested, then we crushed them, we then let the wind separate the lighter stuff, but there's still pebbles in the pile of wheat and chaff and stuff you don't want. We have to get that stuff out. Various utensils were used to remove, let's say, stones or debris from the pile. We have thus reached our Av Malacha of borer. Borer is removing psolos, undesired matter. It doesn't just have to be food items we're going to see, from that which it is mixed in. It needs to be in a state of tarovet. If it's sitting separately in two separate places, it's not a problem. You can select away, and the ochel has to be fit for use, has to be in a better position after the separating than it was before. Once you have those conditions, you have a situation of borer problems, and we're going to have to find a way to get out of it. And we're going to have three ways, which we're going to look at to help us when it comes to selecting, because when it comes to food preparation and house cleaning and cutlery removal and chess pieces, there's going to be a lot of selecting that's needed. So you're going to have to learn how to do it. You just can't stay away from it, really. That's part of life, okay? So we did last class, if you remember, in the first part of the borer, we spoke about what makes a tarovet, what makes a mixture. Remember that? Sound familiar? Right? It has to be intermingled or attached or interspersed, right? It forms one thing. What I want to do today is talk a little bit about shtei minim, two items. What constitutes two items? If it's one item, even if it's one item in different forms, it's not going to be a problem of separating one from the other, even if you don't want one of the things, because it's one thing. You need to have at least two, or three, or four, or five, or six, but at least two items in order to have a problem of borer. Are we clear on this? Yes? Fantastic. Let's try to see some examples of what makes it. So, really, I think it comes down to two things that really put it into this category of shtei minim. And those two things are, one, taste, tam, and two, shame. The name that it has, right? The name. Tam and shame, taste and name. Many things you may think are the same, but actually have a different taste. Many things are called different things and are sold differently, even though you may think they're the same as well, and that categorizes them as two things. So you can look inside your books, the conditions of ochel and psolos, two minim types. Okay? So I have it down as 32, but I have an older book. You're in borer. Second page of borer. 31, thank you. Interesting examples of two minim. Roasted chicken and cooked chicken. You would have thought they're both chicken, both being cooked, and the answer is no, they're considered the same. Chicken cooked in sweet sauce or spicy sauce. Right? That's two things. If they were to be mixed up together in one bowl, right, or one platter, then we could have a problem with borer. Rare meat and well done meat. So they have the same piece of meat, same type, cooked the same way, just one's done well done and one is not well done. That's going to be a problem. Lettuce leaves. Let's say you have rotten lettuce leaves and fresh ones. Same item, one just got a bit moldy and disgusting, and one didn't. That could be a problem when it comes to separating as well. Sometimes it becomes questionable. Okay? Now we're going to see that peeling fruit, we have to see why peeling fruit's going to be okay. But chicken and its skin, generally speaking, we are lenient with that. And a person can remove chicken and skin. Dark meat, light meat, some people are lenient with that as well. Items that are considered one min are large and small items of the same type. So big and small apples, right? Oh, ice cubes in water. Look different, feel different, but actually they're considered the same, and therefore, according to many opinions, it would not be a problem to separate them. Okay? So we have that, the taste of it. Okay? Other examples: cookies of different flavors, chicken and turkey, salami and regular meat, chicken soup and its oil, peanuts and cashews, raw peanuts, roasted chicken, fried chicken, right? All these things are considered to be shtei minim, okay? They have a different type that is connected to them, okay? They have a different name, okay? So names as well. So let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a bowl of M&Ms and you don't like the red ones. So you want to remove the red ones from the other colors for whatever reason. Would that be considered to be borer?
No.
Give me the reasons why.
No, because it's the same taste.
Okay, so it has the same taste, but does have the same name.
Why?
These are red M&Ms. These are yellow M&Ms.
But you call them M&Ms. You don't differentiate between the colors.
I feel like if they're different colors and you're that OCD, you probably have some sort of like clinical condition.
No, like maybe you
No.
don't want your tone to tone.
You just don't want. M&Ms give off color. Okay, could be I don't want the red colors on my clothing. It could have been, I guess. I don't know. Could be. So it's actually a good question. Taste-wise, they're the same. But do they have a different status? The way to know it, and I don't know the answer to this question, but I think I do actually. If they're sold separately, that means it's possible to just buy packets of red M&Ms, and it's possible to just buy packets of yellow M&Ms. That means someone has given them a different name, has separated them out into their own category. In that case, even though they taste the same, and the only thing is color, it could well be a problem. So that's the question. Are M&Ms ever sold separately? Yeah, they are?
You can giant.
You can go to the M&M store and have those big things, and you're like, I'm a red M&M lover, and I'm going to only take the red M&Ms because they make me happy. And I go to someone's house, and there's blue ones mixed in. Blue M&Ms? Pooh! I spit on them. Well, not literally, it's disgusting. And I remove them from the bowl once they're all mixed in. They're small enough, they're taroves. They're both edible, but for me, I don't want the blue M&Ms, and therefore it is considered pasolet for me right there and then. I cannot do the separating over there.
What if you don't want the blue ones, but you take the red ones and eat them?
We're going to see. You're trying to find a solution. We're going to come to the solution. That's going to work. We're going to come to the solution. Now we're just looking at the problem. Yes, Miss Wolfson.
I had a friend who was allergic to like the red dye, so she couldn't eat red M&Ms. So
It used to be, I thought when I was a kid, by the way, M&Ms are kosher. But I was a kid, they would say you couldn't eat. We had in England something called Smarties, which is the tasty version of M&Ms. And they would say, don't eat the red ones, they would say, because they've got beetle's blood in them. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Don't eat the red ones. And actually, it used to be, I think they do it anymore, they used to take dye from a cochineal beetle, crush it, an insect bug. And actually the colour come out of that. I don't think they do anymore, not in the Western world, maybe someone else. And actually use that as a dye. Now it's all synthetic garbage. But it used to be the way, and I thought, how can it be worth crushing these beetles in order to get the, I love Paul McCartney. Why are they crushing him? And they would crush these things in order to get the colour out, and they would use that. There's a question actually whether that's trafe as well, because it could be so far away from the original thing, but we never did it. They would say. So in that case, we're like, I'm not going to read the red ones. It's got beetle's blood in it. Now they don't do it anyway. And M&Ms are totally kosher, 100%. Okay? So basically, I would say that it could be a problem. They're sold differently. People identify them differently. If they didn't, if they just all one being mixture, same flavor, same taste, then it wouldn't be. Okay? So red dyed pistachio nuts vis-a-vis ordinary pistachio nuts are regarded differently because they are sold, well, they have the same taste. They are sold differently. Black and white chess pieces, separating them, one from the other, would be a problem as well. Because the colour, different, and by the whole game is based upon the different colour. Right? Otherwise you wouldn't have much of a game if they're all black or all white, would you?
I was staying in the Lubavitch house for Shabbos, and I was like going through the benchers looking for an Ashkenaz bencher, and they told me I couldn't do that. Is that true?
So that's a very good question. If they're all mixed up, right, into one thing, separating books could be a problem as well. Separating books, paper plates, plastic cutlery, different colours and sizes, separating out altogether. if they are big and they're obscuring, then it could be okay. Then it could be okay. I'm going to come to that. Hold on to that for 1 second. Hold on to that. How about, let's say I got a cake and I cut the cake into different slices, some big, some small, and they're all mixed up. Somehow I managed to cut them to pieces, they're all mixed up. So that would not be beau rare. Even though I don't want a big, I want a small piece, that's not beau rare because it really is the same. You just happen to cut it up differently, different shapes and sizes, got the same taste, same shame. That's not going to be a problem. That we permitted.
Well, what if some pieces have like more of the chocolate?
That would be a problem. If they have more of the chocolate, that would actually be a problem.
Like you're choosing this piece because it looks like there's more.
Right. If there's more, I don't move those out of the way because they don't have what I want on them. Right. As opposed to there's more chocolate, that could be problematic. I believe. How about this? How about if something is only good whole, and actually it's broken.
What?
Something's only good whole, but there's broken pieces with it as well.
So what do you want to do with that?
For example, I have a box of matzah, and inside the box there's broken pieces and whole pieces, and I want lechem mishnah. Lechem mishnah means you have to have whole items of challah or whole complete matzah slices in order to be used to the mitzvah of lechem mishnah. Right, 2 complete loaves for every time you say motzi on Shabbat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the box and I'm going to pull out the broken pieces. Right, I don't want them, in order to eventually pull out the whole pieces that I do want.
But it's the
Same taste, same flavor.
So that's fine.
And the answer is no, it's not okay. Because once they're broken, they're not going to fit my category. For me, I don't want broken. Broken's a problem. So going, although they've got the same taste, they haven't really got the same name. Because for me, I want shalem. I want complete. So taking out broken pieces from, pulling out broken pieces of a matzah box in order to get to the whole pieces, which I want, even though they taste the same, I can't do it.
But you don't have to take it out. You can put it in, just pull the...
We're going to come to the solution. I'm looking at the problems. You're running ahead. I'm going to teach you what you can do. I'm saying what you can't do. We're dealing with problems first of all, then we'll find solutions. Yeah.
If it has the same taste and same name, then it's okay to sort.
Right, I'm just saying, but here we saw it's got the same name, same taste. Matzah is matzah, but broken matzah is not going to fulfill the mitzvah of lechem mishnah. But whole mitzvah will, so even with the same taste, same name, well, maybe in this case it's not the same name because it's broken matzah, and I need shalem in order to be the yotzei mitzvah. You know, when you make a motzi on Shabbat for the shalosh sodot, you need to have shalem. They have to be whole. It can't be sliced or cut or pieces taken off them. So here, the broken matzah would actually be a problem. Yeah.
So, oh, was it me?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at my
I
book.
wanted to ask, like, if you have like grapes and you wanted to take out like a better grape, that's okay, right? So if you
We're
have
gonna see that. We're gonna see how you can take what you want. Yes.
So if it were like a 7-layer cake or some cake with layers, I couldn't be able to take away the cake part to get to the
Let's get to the what?
like whatever the like cream
The
in the
layer
middle.
she likes.
Oh, you want to remove the top bit because you want to get the thing itself? No.
Even
That's
if
gonna
it's
be a
like
problem.
on your plate, you can just eat.
Oh, hold on to on your plate. Hold
you
on.
Have like you have like a piece of cake on your
When it comes to
plate,
solutions,
you
like
know,
everyone wants solutions over there. Everyone wants answers. Give me answers, Rabbi. We're gonna get there. If it's already on your plate, you're about to eat it,
Right.
possibly. We're gonna get to that. But let's just see the problem. Okay, different colors and shapes are gonna be a problem. Different shapes of cookies could even be a problem. Same taste, but you know what? We just want. So we're strict with this kind of stuff. You know, bags of potato chips with different weights are considered different types. Identical flavored cookies, but different shapes, human, animal figure stars. People are strict with that as well. Okay.
So you're saying that like let's
Animal
say
Yeah. If you don't want, I don't want to have it this way. I don't want to eat the dog. I want to eat the elephant, for example. For you, it's like, for you, they're both edible, but one's off and one's solid. Yeah.
what about whole cookie or broken cookie?
So that wouldn't be a problem. I don't think so. Because a broken cookie is the same. I happen to want a whole one. That would be less of a problem. There's no real need over there. I don't believe.
Because what's the difference in the matzah then?
Because the matzah, I want to have a shalem matzah.
Yeah, I want the shalom.
I want the shalem. The shalem. Okay, so now if you really want a shalem cookie, that'll be a thing. Yeah.
But for animal crackers, it's all mixed together in one thing.
That's the problem. The problem is all mixed. That makes it the problem.
Same taste and the same name.
Yeah, but it could be that it looks different. So people may be, if they're not makpid, they don't care, then it's not a big deal. But if people care that, you know, oh, by the way, does it go for the selector or the user? For example, you say to me, Rabbi, what's your name again?
Aura.
Ora says to me, you know what? I want peanuts. Could you, Rabbi, do me a favor? Select the peanuts. I don't like peanuts. So I put my hand in the bowl and I pull out the peanuts. Now, for me, it's borer because I don't like peanuts. But I'm not selecting for me. I'm selecting for you. Am I allowed to select for you if I don't want it? I'm not confused there. But you actually do.
If they're gonna eat it right.
Get the right away thing. Just the selecting part.
No, because you're helping it.
It's not.
You're not removing it for your benefit.
No, it's because that is what you want because you're doing it to give.
So is it for the selector or the user? But she wants peanuts. I don't like peanuts. I take out the peanut. Ugh, I hate peanuts. I stick it on the thing. She said, oh, thank you so much. And she eats it. Or you're feeding a baby. And for you, it's but the baby's is okay eating that thing. I just don't want to eat that thing. That's a better example. That's more likely, yeah? So, well, I'm saying, I'm saying I don't want it. For me, I pull it out, I'm like, I would never eat that. Here, take that baby. Have I been over on Borer? Is it for the selector or for the user? The answer is for the user. Even though I don't like peanuts, and I'm selecting peanuts that I don't like, I'm not eating. It's not for me. I'm just having to do the selecting. You're the end result user. It's being done for you. Therefore, the selecting is for the user and not for the selector. So although I hate peanuts, I'll never eat them, me pulling them out of a bowl, mixed in with M&Ms, would be okay because Ora likes peanuts. Yes.
Wait, what about chicken in the skin?
Chicken in the skin, we're going to say is okay. We'll come to that in a second.
You can take out the skin?
You can remove the skin altogether to the chicken, yes. Yes,
What if
you
you
can.
want the skin?
That's not a problem at all. Then it's ochel from ochel.
What about an apple from its core?
I like the skin.
That would be a problem. Or a bruised piece of banana, that's going to be a problem as well. All these are going to be problems. Okay. So we did tarovet, we did a mixture, we did shtei minim. We said that the end result must be better than it was before. Oh, by the way, can I use a Brita filter on Shabbat? Someone asked me this week. You asked me this on Shabbos, right? On Shabbat you asked me this. Very good. Yes. I did a Shabbaton in Great Neck.
Yeah.
So we discussed this. Can you use a Brita filter on Shabbat?
Yes. Because you're taking.
No, I don't know what Brita filter is, first of all. Any foreigners here know what Brita filters are? Shani, one person. A Brita filter is a Brita filter. Okay, so, there's basically, it's got like a pitcher, a jug, a big kli, and inside it's got like stones held up in a contraption, and the water passes through, and it filters the water so it comes out more pure. It filters the water so it comes out more pure. Can I fill up the Brita filter on Shabbat? All those who say yes, put your hands up, please. All those who say no, put your hands up, please. Okay, no people. Go. Why not?
I've used it before and everyone uses it.
Okay, so I've used it before and no one else uses it doesn't mean it's okay. There'll be many occasions on which I can think of myself where actually using items everyone uses is still a mistake. And I'll give you a story about that in a second. Okay.
Yes or
Are
no?
you,
Yes or no?
are you asking me?
No,
I'm asking
saying,
you.
Are you asking for yes or no?
I'm asking for yes or no. Oh, I'm asking. Give me why it's a problem.
Oh, no.
Problem? Yes.
Because it's supposed, I don't know what it's doing, but it's supposed to be taking impurities out of the water.
It's supposed to be taking impurities out of the water. Okay. Yeah.
But it stays the same, so I don't think that.
That's why I said no. It's like the same thing.
You know what it is? Man, what I'm talking about?
No, but it's the same water.
Yeah.
Does this count as like doing it passively?
I'm not very passive. I'm pouring it right in.
Yeah, but then it happens like
Oh, it happens like a grandma thing you're saying of it as well. No, because that's the way it's done. The way you purify is like this. That's the way it's done. If the way it's done, even though it's a second reaction, right, or it's done passively, then it's still a problem. For example, you can't set up a mouse trap on Shabbat, although you're not actually killing a mouse, but a mouse has to go in because that's the way you catch mice with a mouse trap. So we're going to see you cannot set up a mouse trap on Shabbat.
to have the sink water and you were to have the Brita water and you looked at it, you would be able
They are
to tell.
exactly the
No, but if you taste
same.
it, you could taste it.
You can taste the difference between Brita water and faucet water?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Come
Yes.
on, come on.
No, like 100%.
Really?
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? The answer is, even so, it's not a problem in America.
Why?
It's not a problem. You can use a Brita filter on Shabbat. Why? Because it's drinkable before, it's drinkable after, and any impurities are not visible to the human eye. Not visible to the human eye makes it totally permissible. If, however, you are in a country somewhere, I don't know, in Africa or somewhere in the Middle East where there's still little stones that are found in the water, and you were to try to pour it, that, I believe, would be problematic. And there, what you could do later on, we'll see, is use a contraption so that when you drink it, it filters as it goes into your mouth. As it goes into the mouth, it's going to be okay. Bapeh, or samach l'suna, is going to be okay. Yes.
What about like the water in London, because it's hard.
Oh
and,
my
like,
goodness!
I hate it.
I won't have you talk about my country like that. What's wrong with the water in London?
It's hard. Like it has all the minerals in it, and you can see it like settle at the top.
You can't see it.
I have to filter water.
You
Yes,
can't
you
see
can.
it.
There's like a white film over the water.
What are you drinking in Scotland? What are you talking about? Heavens no. Now, England, you can use Brita filters too. No. If there's real sediment, that you see that is there, how about this is a big thing we do at my house: aerating wine. Can you aerate wine? Drinkable before. What are you actually separating out? Nothing
Nothing,
really.
you're
Just
putting
air into it. It's not a problem.
What about
Right? It looks like a fancy
Wait,
contraption.
what
You pour
about
it.
decanting?
Oh,
I can
decanting
see-
takes out the sediment.
Yeah.
Removing the sediment, if you just pour it like that, not directly into your mouth with a certain item in your mouth to protect it, but actually that would be a problem. Decanting to remove sediment, the last dregs of the wine, that would be problematic. At the bottom of fancy wines, they have like little bits that you're still visible over there. Yeah, yeah, you don't want to drink that. That would be a problem. Yeah. You can use a Brita filter because the difference is not visible. Some may taste it. It was drinkable before, it was drinkable after, and therefore it is going to be okay. 1 second.
What if it's not drinkable before? Like if it's from there's certain states that don't have like drinkable water. Then they put it through a filter.
Problematic. It really is. If most people drink it from a faucet like they do with no problem, then it's not a problem. If most people are drinking it, if you're living in Flint, Michigan, and there's goo's coming out your faucet, that's a problem, I tell you.
In Florida, they say don't drink the water.
They say that. Do most people drink the water from the faucet?
No.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What are you talking about? Most people in Florida are drinking water right from the faucet.
Most people, is it like the population? Or
The most population, not the Jews in Miami Beach. I'm talking about most people in Florida. Anyone here from Florida? Do most people drink from the faucet?
Okay, this was like a solid.
Yes, they do. They do. 100% they do. Right, most people drink from the faucet. What's wrong? Everyone's like dissing British water. Yeah. The New York water's the best. My wife always says. Julie and I made sure we had the best drinking water in New York. I always say that, right? Oh, by the way, there was a problem in New York, which something still exists. There are cooper pods in the water. Little tiny insects in the water
I heard about this on
that was
Shabbos.
there. And that's why you see on a lot of the fountains here, there's filtered water. Now that could be a problem. First of all, drinking it anyway because it's an actual creature. Some say it's not visible to human eyes. Some say actually no. If you hold up to the light or on a cloth, you can actually see the little cooper pods, right? But according to New York State law, it was fine having it there because it wasn't damaging. It was just like a tiny little, it wasn't affecting your body. But for us, it's like a little. If you look at it close up, it's like a little shrimp knocking around in the water. So some say it's not definitely going to be in all of it. It's happened like last few years.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you know the refrigerator that has like filtered water built in the door?
Yeah.
You can just press.
Electric, can't use on Shabbat. Yeah. You push that in, and there's a mechanism going off, right?
Yeah.
I grew up with one of those, and we weren't allowed to use it on Shabbat.
And what if it's like in the sink? There is like filtered water, and there is like the sink for you.
That's okay. That's totally okay.
Why? But it's processed.
I'll tell you why. It's not electric. The water is drunk. I have a separate faucet for drinking water because it's purer. It's like a Brita filter. Same thing.
It's same
Same thing. Most people drinking it beforehand. We just have to be fancy and have you taste something different. Fine.
Oh my God.
Okay. No, Rabbi Lawrence is fine. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. So what are we going to do? We have a problem. We have a tarovet. Let's find solutions today. You're not leaving you with all problems. You have a tarovet. You have shtei minim, right? You are. Oh, and we said, by the way, it's okay to use a filter in the sink, although it's going to keep the bones back from the gravy that goes down, right? Let's say, because that's psolet from psolet. So ochel for ochel's okay. Psolet from psolet's okay. Okay, this is in class when we mentioned this as well. Fine. So how can you separate? So the three things you need to have all three in order to separate one thing from another, which basically means that you aren't separating. I mean, if it's separation, you can't do it. So it must be these three conditions the rabbis pull out are going to help us not separate, okay? And they are biyad, miyad, ochel v'psolos. Okay? Biyad means with your hand. With your hand. If you were to do it with your hand, as opposed to an item that does the separating, now it's going to be a little bit tricky to figure out exactly what that is. I mean, sometimes it's clear, right? Using a sieve or a colander on Shabbat is forbidden. Is forbidden if you're separating. If you are spreading by using the colander, that would be okay. Great. Let's say you want to spread confectionery sugar and just want to have a nice even look over the cake. You're not separating, you're just using the colander and just shake it out to be evenly distributed. That is not considered to be separating. However, to use an implement to do the separating, there's like 5 things in my head right now. My ADD's kicking. Give me a second over here. Because I just went to salt cellars, I just went to lemons. Hold on a second. So all... You know what? It's amazing. What I used to get into trouble for as a kid, you actually make a living from as an adult. You realize that, right? That's the way it works. All the stuff your parents told you off for as a kid, that's actually the good stuff you make. So my ADD actually keeps me in work. Okay, fine. So biyad is okay. Biyad with your hand, but using an item to select is going to be a problem. Okay, now, one second. Examples of items you cannot select with are sieves, colanders, salt shakers. Of the English people out there, salt.
Sellers.
Very good.
South African.
South Africa, that's sellers, that's salt sellers we call them, right? Salt shakers. That's going to be a problem if you what? If there's rice inside, yeah. See, if there's rice inside, it's two separate. And why would I put rice inside? I always thought it was made a mistake. They put dry rice inside because it absorbs the moisture and doesn't let these. You cannot use such an item over there because when it gets to the top, you're actually selecting one from the other. That would be considered to be a problem. If it would just be salt inside, that wouldn't be a problem. You're just shaking it out, right? So generally on Shabbat, we use salt things. You just shake it out. That's not okay. That's okay. But if there's rice inside and it reaches the top, which is going to, that would be a problem. Okay. Now, what's also considered biyad, i.e., permissible, are knives, forks, and spoons. These items are going to be considered. They are an extension of your hand. An extension of your hand. If they are created, so they're okay. That's why you can use a knife to cut into an orange and to remove the contents of it. Okay? Okay. If you're doing it with the other two as well. Okay. So, a knife would be okay, a fork, a spoon. How about a slotted spoon? A slotted spoon that you're serving your cholent with. So generally speaking, if I have one student who years ago heard this, and we spent the whole class arguing of the slotted spoon. She just couldn't get it. She's actually now still a friend of mine. She's now a student at SUNY Optometry on 42nd Street. I went to give a talk over them. I'm like, remember you used to get upset with slotted spoons? She goes, I still am. Slotted spoons will be a problem. Now it's a spoon, but it's created in order to allow the liquid to drain out. Now, some people still allow it if you don't care. You just use it because that's your big spoon. And I don't care if the liquid drains out from the cholent pot onto my cholent plate. and therefore they'll say it's not a big deal. But if your intention is to use that, the slot in it to separate out, that would be a problem. Peelers. Peelers. How about a peeler? So what?
Are you allowed to use a
Yes, I am very appealing, you're correct. I like to use what?
allowed to use a regular spoon and do the
Yes. Wait a second. If you have the other two.
Okay.
A regular spoon to be used is going to be the one you are allowed to use. You don't actually have to use your hand. Knives, forks, spoons are an extension. We gave an exception, and we said that slotted spoons are a problem because they still do some selecting.
Wait, so
One second, what was I saying right before then? Oh no. What?
peelers.
Thank you so much. Right, peelers. So I tell you what, when it comes to peelers, there's a bit of a machloket. Some say you shouldn't use them because that is a tool, a kli, that is designed for separating. But some say it's just a fancy knife, and therefore it's okay. That's like it's used to peel apples or potatoes. It's got a double edged on it.
oh.
Right. Bacana. To peel. Okay. A peeler. So peeling using that, some say it's a problem. My wife actually relies upon a pincher from her Rebbe that she does it and she uses it. Okay? And she's careful, by the way, to take off like a bit of an extra chunk that comes with it. Okay? But still, you would have to, even though you're using some of the open of the pasolas with it, you'll still have to be okay over here. Some are strict, some are lenient. You have to ask your LOR, local Orthodox rabbi, about that. I went to a bar mitzvah many years ago, and I was at a table with wonderful people, and on the table, it was a very fancy Shabbos bar mitzvah lunch. They had a lemon that was cut in half. Here's the cross section of my lemon. And then they took a reshet, how do you say that in English? A mesh, a net, thank you. A net. Sometimes I remember the Hebrew, I remember the English, right? A net. And they just basically put the lemon inside it and then grouped it and bunched it on top with a nice little gold bow. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? So yes, Rabbi? No, who said no? Good. Okay, fantastic. Net. So it basically looked like this. But much, much finer. And it was done all fancy next to your fish. Can you squeeze that lemon onto your fish?
No.
Yes.
On. Ochel?
They're seeds.
La ochel.
No, but you can.
Oh, just like squeezing onto a lemon, I'm just saying. The act of squeezing a lemon onto a fish is okay. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's okay, right? Because it's absorbed. However, there's a problem with the seeds. There could be a seed inside there. Now, the original squeezing will be a problem because the liquid's coming out. But eventually, a seed could make its way and arrive right over there or over there, right? So it's going to separate that point, and you're using the measure. So we sat at the table. We all said, "Nah, it's fine. It's a net, it's not a sieve. What's the big deal?" And we all squeezed. One rabbi said, "No, I'm not doing it." We spoke afterwards to some Rabbi Rezimman, who was actually in Smicha at that moment. We went out to him and he said, "It's a problem." And he called the caterer. This is a great rabbi. This kind of guy he is. He called the caterer and said, "How come you use this thing? You can't use this." And he said, "It's not a colander. It's like an upside down colander, right? It's not a sieve. What's the big deal? It's a piece of netting over it." He's like, "No, this is considered to be a kli. This is a vessel, right, which you're using. It may be fragile, but still a vessel, and you shouldn't have done it." And everyone on the table did it. My worst favor. Yes.
Isn't it there as decoration?
It is there as decoration.
It's not really there as a piece.
Someone said, if you knew these were seedless and it was just there for decoration, then I guess it would be okay. But it actually held back the pulp as well. The garanim.
Like this one is supposed to like separate
The garanim that are inside, little seeds inside, they come out and they get stuck.
But
And
it's
they
boil.
exactly. So we said you can't do it. Right? It was a problem, you couldn't do
But
it.
don't you need the intention to do for it in order to do for it?
That's a good question. If it's not my intention, if I don't really care, then maybe it wouldn't be such a problem.
Like holding this block.
That'd be a problem. If I don't really care and there's no, but still, it's tricky because it is being improved. Everyone would agree they don't want pits inside their salad, on their fish, right? So for them, there is improvement. It's going through improvement still. It's still going through improvement. But then again, that's like the slotted spoon. Some say use a slotted spoon if you don't really care. Just like, that's the spoon I'm using. I don't care if some of the liquid comes with it. But if you start draining out and it's coming out, then it'll be a problem. Okay? Okay, that's the biyad. So knives, forks, spoons, okay, or with your hands as well. 2, miyad, also known as samuch lasu'udah, right before the meal. Yes,
So
Shah.
I have a question on bayad. So you
Yeah.
said it's okay to separate with your hand, right?
You have to use your hand, knife, or spoon in order to do the separating.
So why did you say that it's an avera when you separate between the...
Because you need to have all 3 conditions.
Oh, you didn't
That's
say
just
that.
one. You need to have all 3. How to separate? 3 conditions you need to have. Are we clear on that? That's an important question.
No.
You need to have all 3. 1 is good. You're right. Using your hand is good. You're a third of the way there. 33.1 of the way there. You need to have the other 2 as well. Uh-huh. Oh, by the way, let's say you want to pour out from a pot, and you're pouring out soup, and there's noodles, and you want to hold back the noodles, and you're just pouring it out, but you pour it out in a way that the soup comes out, and the noodles get held back. Okay, you're straining with the rim of a pot. The rim of the pot's going to catch. That's also okay, because it's like a biyad thing. It's not speeding things up. You're not really selecting over there. Just pouring the rim up. Using the lid of the pot to hold something back, that's going to be a problem. That's a kli. That's using a vessel. That you can't do. Okay, but tilting it, slowly pouring it out, that's going to be permitted, because as a straining device, it's really not doing too much for you. Okay? Okay, let's do, I'm all over the place over here. Yeah. I think we can finish this today. I'm feeling good. Kind of. One second. Okay, miyad. So miyad actually is tricky and open to machloket. Miyad is tricky, known as samuch lasu'udah. So how are we going to define it? So there's no real definition given for this. It's kind of saying to you right before, but is it right before the meal? Is it right before the... So generally speaking, although there's no precise unit of time that's used as a criteria for miyad, as a rule, whatever time is needed to prepare for the meal is considered miyad. In other words, if you're going to prepare in the morning for your Shabbos Suda, Shabbos Day Suda, that's going to be okay. Okay, that's considered to be miyad. And that would be permitted to do separating. Okay? You would have to be before you do it. Friday night to Shabbos Day would not be okay. Okay? Even if it's biyad, and even if it's ochel from pasolet, it needs to be miyad as well. You need all 3 conditions. So if I want to separate something Friday night for Shabbos Day, not okay. Some strictly even say that if you want to separate Shabbos morning and then you go out somewhere for a walk and come back, that's also a problem, because you've got to be like in the process of preparing for the meal and before the meal. Yes?
That was my question. And like also do the big nap.
So I think that would be considered to be a hefsek. I believe that's what they say. Okay? On the other hand, he would not be permitted to remove even 1 cherry from a bowl of cherries that he doesn't want, batter it, and go for a 2-minute walk and then eat the cherry, because those 2 minutes, although on brief, they have kind of separated it out. Okay? But once you're in preparation for the meal, right, and you've got a lot to do, you've got to lay the table and cut the salad and everything else, but you're in the preparation zone, that's going to be okay. Peeling an orange, my mother-in-law, God bless her, living well, has this thing that she feels she has to peel tangerines for the meal. I don't know, I said, we're adults, I can peel my own tangerine, but no, it's got to look good in the bowl. To do that before the meal, right, even though it's for dessert at the end of the meal, that's going to be okay. But doing Friday night for Shabbos Day is going to be a problem. If someone left over from Friday night to Shabbos Day, that's okay. Okay, because you want it to be done for the night.
But you can't take a nap.
In between, that could be problematic.
Well, let's say you go in the
For the
morning.
separating aspect of it. Only for the separating.
Right.
If you want to lay the table with other stuff, you can do. But the separating aspect, it's got to be right before and going to it. Yeah, I want to get this right. This is tricky, this one, because it's not so clear, and I've read through many pieces on this. Here, I'll read you what it says. It's permitted to do Bora activities anytime during the entire course of preparation, even though the selected items will not be used until much later in the meal, because the entire process of preparing and conducting the meal is considered miyad. This holds true even if the preparation includes non-Bora activities as well as Bora activities. Okay. Yeah.
So ducks in general, not about boil in specific?
Yeah.
So like you're not allowed to do anything even if it's like, okay.
No, they can do. I'm talking about boat stuff.
Oh.
Right, it just becomes part of the other preparation. As other things that you're doing, you're laying the table and you're preparing other food. Right, you got all that. You're still going to do that stuff. That's okay. Right, you can do it beforehand because it's all part of one hachana for the suda that's coming.
So what you're not allowed to do? Can you give an example?
From morning to like afternoon, or from nighttime to day. It's got to be
Like you're not allowed to peel what you said, an orange for like lunch.
for one.
afterwards?
Right. It's got to be miyad. Yeah.
So you're not allowed to like separate things, leave the meal ready, and then like go to shul and come back for the meal.
For the you can prepare just the separating parts.
So you wouldn't be allowed to do that.
According to this, no. According to this, no. Right. If for a separating aspect to it, it has to be like done right before the meal. And it doesn't take 2 minutes. It could be half. It could be an hour. All right. It could be 2 hours. That's how long it takes to prepare a big suda. That's going to be okay.
Like, what's separating are you talking about? Separating is generally not allowed. So, like, okay, so peeling.
Oh, stop. We said it's not allowed. That we've done. Taroves, all the rest of it we've done, okay? Calories are mixed up together, right? Meat from it. We're saying that you can separate, you need to have 3 things. This is good. Number 1, you have to use your hand or knife, fork, or spoon. Number 2, it has to be done right before the meal, in preparation for the meal. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, that's all we've done so far. Once you do this, you're okay. Number 3, which is the big one that we're all familiar with, but it's just one of 3 things that need to be done, and that is it needs to be ochel mepasoles. Ochel metoch pasolet. You have to take the good from the bad. Why? Because in the original version, if you remember, we're taking out the stuff we don't want, the stuff we do want. The pasolet from the ochel. Okay? So you need to have all 3 categories. Is that clear enough for you? Does that help?
I just like separating what? Like, there's so many things you can't separate. Like,
So, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you can separate. I have a bowl of peanuts and M&Ms. Let's go back to our classic example. We said you're not allowed to use your hand or anything else and pull out the peanuts that you don't want. It's a doraisa chayv skila, the worst that you can do. What am I going to do? I got it. Let's apply these 3 principles, and you can do it. Number 1, you can use your hand, knife, fork, or spoon. Number 2, done right before you want to eat it or the meal is going to be eaten in. And number 3, you're going to take out the stuff you do want from the stuff you don't want. Once you do that, you can separate, which means it's not borer.
Okay.
Does that help you now? You get it now? Yep. We thought it was just this. We're saying it's these 2 as well. You need to have all 3 in order for it to work. Are we clear? We good? Yeah.
What about removing a cork from the wine?
Cork from the wine is totally okay. It's not considered to be, it's 2 separate items, but it's not considered to be mixed in together. It's just a stopper. You're pulling out the cork from the wine, totally mutter on Shabbat. Yeah? I want some of the examples of here. 1 second. And by the way, this is not just food items. Okay, let's say you have a big pile of socks, right? And they're different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and they're all mixed in together, not separately like laid out, but all mixed in together. You would not be permitted to go in and start to go through this big messy pile and pull out till you find the one you want. Like tick, 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 tick. Right? Right? Because that's sola from ochel. Although it's not edible, still it'd be as well. Yeah.
But if it's in a drawer and it's all contained.
That's okay. Because then you have items, that's called siluk, and you're just removing the item in order to get to the ones you want. That's why things that are hanging nicely, you can just go through and pull off. But if they're all mixed up together in one big mixture, right, or be jumbled up, that's a problem out. I think that's a problem, I believe so. Yeah.
So what about the bencher example from before?
So the bench example from before, I'm kind of hearing it. Because they're all mixed in together, I think. If they were neatly put one on top of the other, you're just removing the ones on top, that's silk, that'll be okay. But if they're all mixed in one big pile, but if they're nicely put there, I don't think it'll be a problem.
So if you like pulled out a pile of a few, you could like go through that.
I think so. I
They
believe
were
so.
like neatly put together, but I was pulling like one out after the other and like looking to see them and stuff.
You could do that. You can, because now you're just moving stuff out. That's going to be okay, I think. Yeah.
What if you want to clean out your closet and you have the food?
That's a problem. Cleaning out clothes on Shabbos.
So as a right, how about if you say I'm going to eat the clothes I don't want? That's vodka.
You're still planning for after Shabbos.
You're saying because you're separating for the user, but then they want it. Well, that's preparation for after Shabbat. That's hachana anyway. That's clever. You're saying they want it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm separating for the user, not the me. Clever, but no. Yet no cigar. Yeah. Cutlery. Let's say your cutlery is all mixed in, not separated in a dish rack, where that's not a problem, but it's all mixed into one big pile. So what are you going to do? So there is a solution over here, okay? And that is called, you can unmix the mixture. You can unmix the tarovet, which means you have a pile of, they're all mixed in together because you use them Friday night and you clean them. It didn't separate them into drawers. You kind of like stack it all together, one big mix up. So you can't start separating out. So I can use my hand, but I still have a mixture over here. So I'm going to unmix the mixture. You unmix the mixture, and that is going to be permitted as well. Okay? We didn't do fruit. Oh my God. So basically, you lift them out, you just spread them out on the table. They were mixed, now they're unmixed, and then you could just take the ones you want and just go and lay the.
Talking about the socks.
I'm talking about would work with socks as well, and it works with cutlery, knives, forks, and spoons as well, because they're all mixed in together. It would work there as well. If psolet is acting as a barrier, then it's okay. That taking the skin off the chicken, okay, is permitted. Eating fruit is permitted, although I'm separating the bit I don't want, the peel, that's what I do want. So because basically the cover, the peel, is acting as a. That's going to be the same for candy wrappers. How can I have to take away candy wrapper? That's psolet for mochel, isn't it? I mean, that's the ultimate, because it's acting as a barrier, as a wrapper, and therefore you are allowed to do it because it's not considered to be ordinary psolet. Okay, it's just a cover, and therefore you're going in, rinsing dirt and soil off fruit, removing bit from the chicken you don't want. Peeling an orange or other fruit, even using a knife to do it, is totally okay. Okay? However, if I have, so I'm just going to go through this with your questions, 1 second. If I have watermelon that is cut up, I cannot take the little seeds out because that's not obstructing, it's not a cover, it's a seed inside. So taking the seeds out of watermelons is a problem. What are you meant to do? So while you eat it, you can spit it out as you eat it. That would be okay. Where this is impractical, right? For a child, it could be dangerous. For example, you can shake it off right before you eat it. Right? That's really miyad. You just shake it off, or you can remove it by hand with a spoon right prior to eating, if it's very difficult. But the best way to do it should be as you're eating it. Okay?
Rabbi, you could always like cut a piece of watermelon that doesn't have a seed and just feed the child that piece, right?
Yeah.
How do you determine what's a barrier?
It's gotta be like obstructing it. Like obstruct. If there's a big thing that's obstructing it, if it's a small seed or something. I'll give you another example here. Cantaloupe and honeydew, which my wife loves very much. Why? Honeydew this, honeydew that. I'm full of them today. That's going to be different because basically there's a cavity in the melon, and they're all grouped and strung in together. So actually considered to be embedded. You just literally just take out the whole centerpiece without taking some of the flesh. Once there's 1 or 2 pieces left behind, that's a problem. They have to take some of the, or you have to use your mouth to spit it out.
But like again with the sock thing, if you're just like if you're not taking out the bad like.
But if they're jumbled together and you are separating out the ones in order to find the one you do want, that's going to be a problem.
But what if you're not taking it out and separating it? You're just like moving them all around.
If they're
So you see the one you want. And then
they're
you
all
choose
mixed,
the one you want.
it's problematic still. If it's big items, then it could be less of a problem. They're just obstructing it, right? I
You're
think.
looking, if it's obstructing it, then you can't see what you want, so you're moving it all around. Anyway.
I'm hearing you. Go on. I'm going to come back to that. Go on.
Yes, I have a question. If you grab cutlery from the sink rack and it all mumbled together, but as you're sitting on the table, you're separating them, is that allowed?
No, we're saying it isn't allowed. You have to unmix it.
So
You have to actually unmix it. Okay.
Fishing, what do you want
Basically, you have two types. You have knife soldiers with 6 different types. Here, it follows when one unmix the mixture or combination by disentangling or scattering the middle items indiscriminately. Indiscriminately, that's the important part. You basically eliminate the basic elements of borer completely. You remove the entire problem. Just like removing some of the good with the bad. Remember that with the apple or the soup with the fly. Remember from last class? So over here, I'm doing the whole thing. So, example, a woman wishes to organize assorted silverware in order to put them away in separate drawers or set the table for much later. In both these situations, she will not be using the sorted items right away, hence the condition of miyad is absent. Solution, she may take a few of the sorted pieces of silverware and spread them out on the table, thereby separating them. Just like take out some of them, spread them out. Once they're separated or mixed, you do whatever you want with them. Or you want to separate black and white chess pieces or checker pieces and store them in separate compartments for later use. It's a problem. One may spread a handful on the table to separate them. You've unmixed them. You haven't separated out, you just kind of unmix them, and then you can do what you want them, put them away. Okay?
So what if they're in the sink? Can you choose something to clean it first? Is that a problem? Because they're all mixed.
You're saying a big part of it. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. It's a good question. I have to look into that. That's a good question. I'll make sure I covered every example that's in front of me. Okay, so let's say you cut a piece of chicken. Cut a piece of chicken. So are you allowed to remove the bone from the chicken? And the answer is no. Some people are lenient if it's right before, in the course of the meal. So what are you going to do otherwise?
You can do it in the hand.
You can, but you have the other problems as well.
Why? But it's like some more
You need all three.
And it's 100%.
So miyad, and you take the, so what are you going to do? You take the meat from the, you hold the bone and you take the chicken from the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically the same with fish. Some people are lenient. They say this samach sort of means right before you eat it, it's on the plate already. People are lenient. If people do it differently, you shouldn't complain. That's okay, right? Because you're the main problem. The further away you are from the meal, the more problem you're in.
What if you have?
If you're right before or on the way to your mouth, and but there's no boreh b'peh. You can separate watermelon seeds of them in your mouth, obviously. Just spit them out. Yeah, that's for sure.
What if you have mashed potato?
What?
Mashed potato and like the green ones on the same plate. You love both of them, but you don't like them together. So you separate them, but you.
Well, what's mixed? What's the mixture here?
Mashed potatoes and peas.
Yeah.
Are they mixed in together?
They're mixed in together, but you want to separate them, but you want both. You're just separating them on the plate because you don't like them
Is
together.
it OCD? You want?
No, like
No,
some.
you
Why?
don't
You
have
see
to
kids
touch
do it
them
all
all.
the
I don't like
time.
my food.
If they're separate parts of the plate, it's not considered to be a
No,
mixture.
but they're not
But
separate parts
they're
of
not
the thing.
separate. You want to separate because you don't like them together. I do it all the time. But like,
No.
is that allowed? But you eat both.
That's ochel from ochel. You're basically trying to give me an example of ochel. Ochel from ochel is okay.
It's okay from okay.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so I don't like my food touching. Is that an issue?
Speech a therapist. I don't know.
No, that's like what you just said.
I think that's what she's saying as well. In that situation, if they're mixed in together, if they're just touching, it's not a problem. That's not right. They've got to be like attached, intermingled, or interspersed. They're just next to each other, no gear, right? Just like touching. I don't think that's a problem. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. This miyad thing is very, very difficult. It's very, very, very difficult. You know, we spent a lot of time studying it. 1 second. Let me just do one more thing with you. Hold on. Okay, there's something called derech achila. Sorry, just one last thing I want to do with you inside. Basically, as a rule, the act of eating itself can never be classified as borer on Shabbos. Okay? This is basically known as derech achila, the way of eating. Derech achila. That's why, for example, tochein is forbidden, but grinding food with your teeth is okay. That's derech achila. Okay? So derech achila is going to be okay. It's just difficult to know exactly at what point you're in the derech, how you are, if it's actually part of it. So some people say, basically it means b'shas achila, while you're actually eating. Okay. So for example, if tiny particles of tea leaves are floating on your glass of tea, you can put a handkerchief to your lips to strain it while you're eating it. Okay? or expelling seeds inside. That's the way people used to do it. People used to drink a lot of stuff, water from a pond or wherever it was, some plain water. They don't want insects. They would literally just put like a piece of cloth in there. They would put it over the bottle, and that would be okay on Shabbos because that's derech achila. Yeah.
So, like, what if you had a cookie and you ate all, like, you, like, broke it up and ate all the dough pieces and then you ate all, like, the chocolate chips afterwards? Because, like, that's just how you want it.
That's okay. You're having a bit of that's the ochel for Basolas. You don't want it right now. You want it later on. That's fine.
Okay.
Using your mouth, it's derech achila. It's definitely okay. And samachos suda as you're eating it, not a problem.
I understand how putting a cloth isn't separating.
It is, but there's a leniency called derech achila. Remember, the original separating was later on. So if I do it separating close to the meal, in your mouth for sure. Taking the seed out of your mouth is definitely okay. But if I'm doing, even some say, even the process of eating while it's on your plate, going towards you, miyad lepeh, people are lenient with that as well.
So you're gonna have a separation.
That's not considered to be separating. Right. It's just tricky to figure out exactly how that is. Yeah. But if you're feeding a small child, for example, and there's bones in there, and you're about to feed the child, you can definitely get the bones out. You know what I'm saying? Child's able to repair. That's you can rely upon this derech achila. It's miyad lepeh.
I don't mean to go back to this, but
But you're gonna go back anyway,
yeah,
right?
if you're holding the pile of silver in your hand and you're taking out what you want, isn't that ochel mitzvah? Like, what's the problem there?
Because it's still a mixture. So you're gonna have to do it.
But if it's like with your hand and you're setting the table because you're about to eat and it's ochel mitzvah, then why is it a problem?
If it would be straight away, it would be probably less of a problem. If you're putting away into a drawer or something, or for a later meal, then it could be a problem. If it's miyad, you're probably okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're done with Bora. I think so, yeah. I think we covered everything. Peeling fruits, pits, seeds, bones in fish, the area itself. Okay, we'll do Tochi next class.